Hello, today's Bible study comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verses 10 through 12, and it reads as follows. Undoubtedly, there are all sorts of languages in the world, yet none of them is without meaning. If then I do not grasp the meaning of what someone is saying, I am a foreigner to the speaker, and the speaker is a foreigner to me. So it is with you. Since you are eager for gifts of the Spirit, try to excel in those that build up the church. Wow. So Paul is still talking to him, and he's completing what he had told him about tongues. And he says to him, there are, it may be, so many kinds of languages in the world, and none of them is without significance. Paul is telling you there are all kinds of languages in the world, all kinds of tongues in the world. You can go back to Acts chapter 2 and see who all they were talking to, and it was a whole bunch of different tribes. So he's telling them about it, and he says, none of them are without significance. He's saying just the fact that there is a language is a gift from God. There's a language for everybody. We can talk to people because of God. We were created in his image. He brought about languages. And even when he confounded the languages, he still made it available for some to speak in that language and for some to speak in that other language and another language and another language and another language. And we can communicate. And then he tells you that so many languages, so many kinds of languages in the world. First of all and foremost, man couldn't create a language. Man may think he can do and think his intelligence and extreme and all this. God created language. God confounded the languages. If you don't believe that God can do all this, then you need to read your word more. He tells you at one time you all said the same and spoke the same language. Then your pride got in the way and you tried to do things that you shouldn't have done, and you boasted. And the Lord said, I can fix that, since you boasted to be all you could be and do all you could do. And then he never put the languages back where we all speak the same language. There's some understanding we can get from our languages now. There are some gifts of tongues that way and gifts of interpretation, but you have to go work at learning a language now. So it's not, man, it ain't nothing to do with man. And if you look at the different languages in the world, and I've been over parts of this world, languages are different. Some are symbolic, some are words, some have meanings behind them. Words are different. Characters, letters, whatever it may be, even hieroglyphics, they all had their own specific meaning, their own language. Man could have done it. And you have to know that language is nothing that you created, nothing that you brought about. This is truly a gift from the Lord. So if languages, are a gift, and there's some things you got to know. First of all, you didn't create it. So if you go to somebody, like it tells you in verse 11, if then I do not grasp the meaning of what someone is saying, if I go to them and I don't understand what they're saying, I am foreign to the speaker, to their language. And the speaker is foreign to me and letting me understand his language or her language. So that's one thing you definitely got to know. But the real thing is, if you're worried about these gifts, let the true edification of the church, not of man. And he tells you that. So it is with you. Since you are eager for gifts of the Spirit, try to excel. Try to excel in those that build up the church. In other words, the gift of tongue that some of us think we have is not something you should be striving to excel in, because it doesn't build up the church. And if you look back in chapter 13, the present, you can see that it is self-edification. It is not glorifying the church. It's not edifying the church. And Paul tells you, if you say you speak in tongue and you're speaking directly to the Lord, then we can't interpret it anyway. And if that, how can we interpret it? And if we can't interpret it, how can it edify us? It can't teach us anything because we don't understand it. We don't know it. You have to understand. He's telling you, don't go for the gifts that don't edify the church. He told us to excel in those that do. And he's about to tell you something else next class. Amen.